All right, welcome back to Box Office Report today on the 27th of July, and it's Fantastic Four 2025. See, I worked that in there. Not the Fantastic Four, the July 2025 part. And hey, look, been a while since I've got one right, but I got the box office right this week. Coming in at number one, with I don't think any of us are going to be surprised by it, Fantastic Four with a $118 million opening weekend. Superman made another $24.8 million, dropping 57.5%, which is actually pretty good considering it went up against another big comic book movie. Jurassic World Rebirth made another $13 million, roughly, dropping 45.2%. F1 made $6.2 million, still only dropping 37.2%. Excuse me. Ooh. And Smurfs dropped surprisingly not that bad, around 51.2%, making their $5.4 million. Obviously, Fantastic Four is the big boy on the block this week. And look, $118 million. Is that as high as maybe they were predicting? In fact, no. As a matter of fact, I think that comes in just on the low end of what they were predicting. I think the prediction was between 120 and 130. It might have changed last I knew, but so maybe it comes either right what they were expecting or maybe on the low end. But make no mistake, don't make any excuses, and don't believe someone trying to paint this in a bad light. This is a, pun intended, fantastic start for this film. Marvel, as we know, has been in a rough patch the last couple of years. There was, we've had Phase 4, which was a lot of hit and miss, and Phase 5, which also was a lot of hit and miss. Now, just take the TV stuff out of the equation. Black Widow was, again, I'm going by both my opinion and the general opinion. Black Widow was fine. Shang-Chi was very well received. Eternals, not so much. Spider-Man was beloved. Doctor Strange did very well and was generally well liked. Thor Ragnarok's not very well liked, but still made a decent amount of money. But then Black Panther made a good amount of money. Not as good as the original, but everyone understood the circumstance. And then you had Ant-Man and the Wasp, not very well received. Then you had Guardians 3, really loved. Then the Marvels, not really well received. Then Deadpool Wolverine, really well received. Then it's been a back and forth. But then you had Thunderbolts, which was really well received. And now you have this, which is being really well received. So, and if I factor TV side of things, we also had Daredevil. So, is it too soon to say that Marvel is back? Yes, I would still say it's too soon, because 2 does not make for a streak. 2 makes for an emerging pattern. But the fact of the matter is, this is the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made. And the fact also is, that's not a very big statement to make, because the other 2 were not. Look, if you like those 2, I got a soft spot for those first 2 films. Absolutely. And look, I didn't even hate the Josh Trank one, all of that. I mean, I didn't like it, but I did think there was some upside and some ideas there that could have worked. But man, that was rough. I'll take those first 2 over that one any day of the week. Those first 2 were rough. That last one was rough. Whereas the first 2 were just kind of like schlocky bad, a little too comic booky in some ways. That one was kind of going the opposite and not in an effective way. But still, this leaned into its comic book roots, yes. But it did in a way where it was palatable for the audience. It wasn't being overly goofy, cornball, or anything like that. It took itself serious enough. I think that worked in its favor. And look, $118 million. Look, that's one of the best openings we've had for the Marvel universe in a while. It's not as good as obviously as Deadpool Wolverine, but it sure beat the last 2, Thunderbolts and Captain America. I think it definitely beats the Marvels. I think it beats Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think. Hold on one second here. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Okay, Guardians. Okay, let's just go Guardians. Should come up. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What was the opening weekend on that? Let's see. Its opening weekend was 118.4, and we're at just 118 flat. So this could either be a little above or a little below Guardians' opening. If it is above, that means you have to go even farther back all the way to Black Panther, and there you go. That's how long since we had a really good opening. And look, we've had 3 films prior to this for Fantastic Four, which just could not get off the ground. I think the record for the Fantastic Four films in terms of overall box office. Hold on here. Let's see here now. Fan 4 Fantastic Four. All right, Fantastic Four. Which, okay, the 2005 one made a worldwide total of $333 million against a $100 million budget, which actually makes sense why they are able to do a sequel. Because they probably didn't have a huge marketing budget in there. They'd probably have less than $100 million, easy. Because back in the day, you did do less marketing. So that makes sense why they would have done another one. The second one ended up making less on a bigger budget. Now they'd still probably end up making a little bit of money, but they kind of saw the writing on the wall. And then the 2015 one, $167 million against the $120 million budget. Woof. That is something special right there, folks. So the fact is, this film is already, first off, it's already made way more than that last one did. And it's clearly going to make more than the previous 2 did. It's going to be the highest grossing Fantastic Four movie ever. Where it ends up, that's a good question. Unlike Superman, which did have this coming up in the coming up on the docket to take money away from it, Fantastic Four doesn't have any real strong competition coming up for the rest of, eventually it will no longer be number 1. But what do we got this week? We got The Naked Gun and The Bad Guys, too. Both films I'm looking forward to. Both films I'm going to go see. I'm definitely looking forward to Naked Gun. But Bad Guys 2, I saw the first Bad Guys. I liked it. But I don't see either of these dethroning this film next week. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this film's going to drop less than 50%, but mid-50s for like a high 50 at best, low 60 in second week. Yeah, I still see it being number 1. Then Freakier Friday and Weapons. Again, for being honest, I don't see either of those knocking this off of its pedestal. I see it probably being somewhere in the, again, low 30s, high 20s, and I don't see either of these debuting at that point. Then we got the following week, Nobody 2, Americana, which I don't know what that one is. Jimmy and Stiggs and Witchboard. I don't know what any of those are. Americana. These might not be films that Go Away ad. I don't care about you. Go Away ad. Thank you. What is Americana? So see, at that point, with Nobody 2, at that point, it'll be in its 4th weekend. Let's see, follows local outsiders and outcasts in a small Dakota town whose lives are finally intertwined with a rare artifact falls into the black market. Okay, I can tell it's so low, but this is probably not going to be big in the theaters. Like, it might get some like theatrical screenings, like in my local Cinemark, but it's not going to be like 2,000 plus screens. So it's going to be Nobody 2. That one might do it. That one might knock it off the pedestal. But if it doesn't, I don't even see Honey Don't doing it. If it doesn't, I'll say this. It's probably, then you got The Toxic Avenger and Roses, Jaws being re-released. I believe this is a re-release, not a remake or anything like that. Right? Seaside Amity, blah, 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 Rob. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, it's just a re-release. I mean, there's a very strong and real possibility that Fantastic Four First Steps stays number 1 at the box office for the entirety of August. And that would be a great, now granted, that is also kind of commentary on everything coming out, unable to challenge it, but that would be a great sign for Marvel and Disney. Because, again, Disney and Marvel are clearly getting their groove back a bit. Daredevil was well received. Thunderbolts was really well received. It's just, again, it had a lot of baggage coming with it. The state of the MCU as a whole, plus a bunch of TV characters that you probably didn't know, or like secondary characters from other movies that you might not have seen or know of. But regardless, they are getting their mojo back. They're getting their groove back. So this this is probably going to have a very, very good run at the box office. I'm not saying it's going to make $1 billion. I don't personally think it is. But at 500 plus, apparently it's on the $200 million budget. Reports say that needs to make about between 400 and 500 to break even, which would be about 450. So about 100 million in marketing does make sense. Honestly, the trailers, they didn't do a lot of trailers. They ended up going more like the clip route, which I think really helped it. Because the clips were far better than a lot of the trailers we got. Excuse me. So, I mean, yeah, 450 sounds about right for a film like this. 450. And right now, it's on a really good trajectory for that. Where does this end? Look, I think it ends between 600 and 700. If it can do above, say, 750, then I'm going to be very surprised. Because I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it's a Marvel film, but Marvel's in a rough state at the moment. I get it's a big summer blockbuster, but again, the Fantastic Four themselves, take Marvel out of the equation, also carry baggage with them. So I'll be impressed if it can do like 750 plus, but anywhere between 6 and 7 is going to be my calc for it. A lot of people say it's going to be $1 billion. No, we haven't had $1 billion film in Marvel since the outlier of Deadpool and Wolverine. Before that, no joke, not since Spider-Man Homecoming. No Way Home. And then before that, Spider-Man Far From Home. So it's amazing. You know, Marvel used to make it look like making $1 billion was easy because almost every film they were putting out was making $1 billion. I actually should really look into like the Marvel, the amount Marvel actually movies have made overall and see if it still averages out to $1 billion, because it was at a point where the Marvel films were averaging $1 billion, and I believe we definitely had enough not stinkers, but enough smaller box office, totals at the box office come out that average might not be correct anymore. But again, you have things like Deadpool, Wolverine, and Spider-Man No Way Home. I was supposed to say Homecoming again. No Way Home, where they're so huge in their box office that they might kind of shift the average. So who knows? But we'll see what happens in the following weeks. Superman made $24.8 million. It has crossed $500 million, 502.7. So might as well make it 503 so far. Now this does not put it in the profitable range yet. It does not. Superman's made on about 220. It's averaged out about 200 million for its promotion and marketing. So you are still looking at a film that, roughly speaking, has to hit somewhere in the neighborhood of about 630, give or take, to break even. But it's getting there. I mean, unfortunately, this week does show, I think, the overall drop off now from the international more than anything else. But look, Superman was always going to struggle. It was. And the fact is, I didn't even bring this up last week. Superman, the first film out of the DCEU, the first film out of the DCU, James Gunn's universe, made more than all of the other films from DCEU, the original one, made more than any of the other films until you get all the way to Aquaman. Everything from Aquaman and back, Justice League, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, has made more than this. Everything after Aquaman made less than this. And if you really, really want to get technical, it made more than Blue Beetle, Shazam 2, and The Flash combined. Hold on, let me think on that real quick. Shazam 2, yeah, I can just look it up right now. Because The Flash made about 270, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, The Flash. And The Flash I thought was a good, like, I never hated any of the DCEU movies. I never did. But, like this, I think this was among the better stuff that came out. So 271. Shazam 2. Fury of the Gods. 271. 134. That puts it currently at 405. So yeah, Blue Beetle made about 121, which means, no joke, while they're still ahead on that margin, if you want to go that route, Superman by next week is going to make more than all three of those films combined. That's how much people have given up on that movie franchise. Or they gave up on it. You still get the Snyder Bros and even Zack Snyder disavows you guys. So sorry, buddy. But yeah, you still get the Snyder Bros and all that, and you know I get it, but and look, like I said, I liked it too. I enjoyed the series of movies. I did enjoy those movies, but you can't stick your head in the sand on this. You got to be realistic, and unfortunately, it just wasn't working. So the fact of the matter is, even if this film does not hit the 630 it needs to just to break even, and it's already kind of closing in there a little bit. It's still about 128ish, 27ish away, but it's chugging along really well. Now, obviously, we had Fantastic Four come out this week, and that was a big in its momentum. That was a big punch in the face that Superman could take, but because it's the exact same type of film in terms of like marketing and marketability, genre, all that, it was going to take a hit. So the fact that it still now has crossed over 500 million is a success because, again, just to reiterate, the goal of this film was never to make money. I mean, that is a hope of any film, but the goal is to get people reinterested in the DC universe and the DC characters and the DC world. So as long as the audience and the critics were liking it, whatever this film ultimately did, it's fine if it failed a little bit on the box office because this is laying the groundwork for the future. And look, it's closing in on possibly actually making a profit. So look, they got to be happy with this. They made over $500 million. Again, they did make it on a lot, but it worked for them. It's working. Jurassic World Rebirth made $13 million. Currently stands at a little over 700 million, 718 million. And it's still got more in the tank. Like, this is not running on fumes yet. It's not. It made 13 million this weekend alone. It's not running on fumes yet. I don't consider a film running on fumes until it's only making maybe a few million each weekend. Like, anything more than anything less than 3.5 million is running on fumes per weekend to me. Jurassic World is not there yet, but it is starting to taper out its worldwide a bit. It's still got a bit more gas in the tank for the international. Not much, but more. I think it's probably closing out somewhere around high 700s, low 800s. We're not hitting $1 billion on this one, which again, to be fair, you can't really expect it to, especially with the kind of lackluster reviews it was getting. That said, though, it still made money. It still made a decent amount of money. So they can still justify coming in and doing another one of these. Absolutely they can. Now, should they still be taking notes? Absolutely. For example, if I were to just give some notes on things I didn't like about the movie, and there are things I didn't love about the movie. I wouldn't say I outright hated anything, but there are things that I definitely think you could have just either done without or altered. And the movie's now been out for what now? 4 weeks? Is that what the 4 weeks now? Yeah, 4 weeks. So minor spoilers here or there. But nothing serious. You didn't need the family there. I get the kid aspect. Every one of these movies has a kid. I get it. But again, just to reiterate, because I think I talked about this either in the review or in one of my breakdowns during the box office. If we actually look at the kids in all those films, and I can do it real quick. The first two, those are classic. You need those kids, kind of help sell the movie a bit. Goldblum's daughter had no need to be there. They literally found a plot reason to get her on that island, and it's completely unnecessary. Now, I get in the third one, Ben is the MacGuffin of that movie. I get it. The idea that he was able to survive is nothing short of amazing. They say it too. I didn't find him that annoying either. So actually, I didn't mind that kid. He was one of the better parts of the movie, honestly. Of a movie that's not very good. Then you get into Jurassic World. Those kids, those kids, no. But unfortunately, I get why they are there. It's the attraction of the park from a kid's perspective. I do get why they're there. So, but then you go into Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom in reverse. Maisie is, first off, she's kind of a shit in the third movie. Like, she's a little bit of a brat. Like, I get a little bit of it, but like, seriously, you're a clone. Like, and the whole clone aspect, like, just bad, just terrible, really not good. And his daughter made a clone of herself as her daughter. What? Like that? Because we learned like she was growing herself in her basically, like she got herself pregnant with herself. Like there's so many levels of what the hell going on in this movie. But yeah, so when we actually look at the overall Jurassic World series, only half the kids up until this point needed to be there. And look, I get what the way. If you honestly just take the boyfriend out, really, that's it. Take the boyfriend out, and I could have justified that family more. But that boyfriend really, he becomes tolerable near the end. But that boyfriend, man, you just want to beat the shit out of him most of the time. I like the dad. So I would have changed that at the best. At minimum, take the boyfriend out. Cut him out of that entire group. Okay. B. Give us a couple more humans to get eaten. 1 or 2 extra ones. Fine. Or have the boyfriend get eaten. There you go. But have a couple more cannon fodder there. C. Clean up the effects just a little bit. There are times I'm watching and like, okay, it's good CGI, but it is looking a little CGI. But that's a minor pick. The big thing, though. The big thing. And apparently, this was allegedly going to be in the film. Have a bit more of a climax. That D-Rex, we barely saw the damn thing. And when it showed up, it's like, cool, great. Really? That's all we're getting? And apparently there was something else lined up for that. Allegedly. And I'm like, why did we not get that? Like, seriously, why did we not get that? So, I like the film. And again, it's not like the dinosaurs are not there. The dinosaurs are certainly there. I've heard some people say, the dinosaurs are only there for like 15 minutes of the movie. I'm like, no, they're not. They're in there actually for quite a bit more than that. And then B, try comparing that to when the dinosaurs were in the original films. If you actually break that down, I wish someone does a YouTube video about that, because I hear it's like, they're barely in the movie. And then I see the movie, I'm like, no, they're in the movie quite a bit. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, yeah, those are my notes for how to kind of improve on whatever the next one will be. Now, whatever the next one is going to be, who knows? Go to the other island, which is the initial site for this and this and this. Do they just go back to this island, dinosaur? Because they're still following it in the same continuity as the original, movie and the sequels. So dinosaurs aren't really around in the world much anymore. So how are you going to continue this franchise? I am curious on that. F1 made 6.2 million. 509 million. Again, great, but it's still made on too much. They made it on just too much money. F1 movie. Hold on. Let me refine the budget on that, because they seriously too much. F1 movie budget. Budget. I know it was like an absurd amount. Okay, between 200 and 300 million, so 250. Some reports even suggest it surpassed 300. However, Jerry Bruckheimer, the producer, stated that the budget was actually tens of millions of out of whack in the wrong direction from 300 million. Wait, what? So, Jerry Bruckheimer stated that the actual budget was tens of millions of dollars out of whack in the wrong direction from the $300 million figure, according to Deadline. And the film also reportedly has about $100 million in marketing. That makes sense. So wait, tens of millions more in the wrong direction from 300? Is that what's supposed to be? Yeah. So in the wrong and the right, or is it in the right direction? I'm trying to figure out, because that statement could go either way with that. In the right direction of 300, which means towards 300, or in the wrong direction of 300, away from 300. Or in what direction? Right now, I am going to go on the assumption that it is, we're just going to say 300. I think, because, yeah, Bruckheimer says, like, the wrong direction for 300, so I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. Most seem to say about 300. Most are saying 300. So I'm going to, but they're also saying 200. Screw it. We're going to average it out. We're going to do 250. On a $100 million budget, that means this film still had to ultimately hit 580, which it's not going to do. It, like Mission Impossible, was just made on too large of a budget for the type of film it was. Particularly this. Yes, I get that there's a lot going into the Formula One driving and all that. But again, maybe Siphon. Honestly, if you could have gotten this down to 200 million, this film would be profitable. The film would be profitable. It's 200 to 300. I can't reasonably say 200 million. I gotta average it out when you give me a number like that. So 250. It's amazing how much more that freaking 50 or 250 adds on to that, or 50 really adds on to there. It is actually amazing in that regard. And so you add an extra 200. Yeah, seriously. Okay, no, I'll back up on that real quick though. It actually, I misspoke. It actually has to only hit about maybe 330, 325, or 530, 525. I got my math wrong on that. So it might be able to creep over the finish line, maybe. But when you spend that much money and you barely break even, that's not good business. I'm glad Warner Bros. Is having a lot of success this year, but that doesn't mean you need to go crazy on every single thing. Look at Sinners. Reasonable budget, made a lot of money. One of the best films, if not the best film of the year so far. Smurfs, not one of the best films of the year so far, but made on a reasonable budget of around 50-ish million. This film is not going to make its money back at all. Not even close. Paramount is in a bad way, man. I don't know what's up Paramount's ass lately, but they have really lost touch with themselves. Like, they haven't had a real big hit since Top Gun Maverick. And that is just unfortunate. Because Paramount's done good stuff in the past. But yeah, the person in charge has not been greenlighting the best films. This film needed a lot of reworking. I didn't hate the damn thing. And I probably would watch Elio over this. And I didn't even love Elio that much. But it's still not a good number. Not a good number at all. And it didn't even have a bad drop because, fortunately for it, there's really not much in terms of like animated or kids fare out right now. Like, if you really look at what's currently out, Superman is family friendly, but not a kids film. How to Train Your Dragon is still around, but it's in its 7th week. Elio's still around in its 6th week, which actually shows you how badly Elio did. So yeah, Smurfs kind of had this whole spot to itself until this week with Bad Guys 2, which is going to bury Smurfs into the ground, because that's coming off an actually good movie that people actually liked. So, but take those first 2 Smurfs out of the equation. The Smurfs have not done well financially. They haven't. And even still, like, that's because of the novelty of the Smurfs at first. But why, on God's green Smurf, do you need to bring the Smurfs into the Smurfing real world? What do you get? It's because you saw it in those live action ones, so you thought, okay, let's Smurf it up, man. Let's get all these Smurfs, and they're going to be Smurfing each other up the Smurf. It's going to be awesome. Like, anyway, I Know What You Did Last Summer made about 5.1 million. It dropped. Didn't have the best drop. It dropped 60%, which, from everything I've heard about the quality of the film, woohoo, yeah, that sounds about right. But it's only on an $18 million budget. You got to assume only 20 million. So it's chugging along for that, win. It's only got to make another 15 million, not even to break even. So if we can just do another 15 million, it'll be good. So we'll see what happens there. I still don't care about the film at all. Like Scream, or Scream 4 or whatever it was. Not the most recent Scream, but the one that came out, the other reboot, if you will. Or continuation, sequel, whatever, or requel. I did see that one, and I actually really enjoyed that one, but I just didn't get around to seeing the last one. And they're going to do another one. Of course they are. How to Train Your Dragon made another $2.8 million, making it now over 600 million. Now, I do not believe it'll be beating the third one, which is the highest grossing one, How to Train Your Dragon. There you are, How to Train Your Dragon. The Hidden Kit World, I believe, is the highest grossing one, if I'm not mistaken, at 600. What was it? We're about to find out. 600 and No, actually, no, I'm sorry. It was the second one that was the highest grossing one. How to Train Your Dragon 2. Okay. Which is, okay, $621.5 million. I'm going to say no, but it's only 15 million away. Man, if we were like still making like 5 million or something like that, I'd be a lot more inclined to say yes. It's either gonna just come short of it or just barely creep over that. It's one or the other. There's no other option in this. I think it's gonna be either just barely or just barely. But good for it though, absolutely. Eddington, based on a real story, made her 1.6 million. I don't know what the movie's on. A24 doesn't make these all that expensive, but they almost never turn a profit. Oh Hi, which is a thriller, and The Home, which is like a horror movie, both debuted in the millions. Elio made a little under $1 million this week. It stands right now at 132.62 or 6 million against a pretty big budget. Man, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Apparently, the film did get reworked, so the budget probably got inflated a bit, so that didn't help. But I'll say it again. The three biggest things that hurt it was A, the trailers weren't very good, so they weren't engaging. B, the strikes pushed it off its original release dates. And B, terrible placement. It was in a murderer's row of just animated or family-friendly content to just eat it up that was far better than it. Case in point, Lilo and Stitch, which made another 917 grand, which brings it right now to a total of 1,010 million, which I believe does put it as the, I want to say it's the 50. No, I want the all time, every time, everywhere, everybody's doing now. Okay. Okay. Worldwide lifetime gross. That puts it as the 56th highest grossing film of all time. Passing The Dark Knight, just barely, but it did it. I don't see it having another 7 million, 6-ish million left in the tank, though, to make the 55th spot. I don't see that happening. But look, I don't think it necessarily needs it. I don't think it needs to, period. Lilo and Stitch kind of cemented itself. I know this 28 years later is at 150. It's kind of just quietly chugging along a little bit. Like, it doesn't have much left in it, but it's quietly chugging along. Mission Impossible is pretty done its run. Unless it gets another boost, it's pretty much going to end at around 590 something, which most films would kill for. Not good enough for this film. Either way, though, that's the box office this week. You know, right now, comic book movies are doing well at the box office again. You know what? That's a good thing to see. I want that. First, I want the health of the box office overall. This is more than a $150 million weekend. So that's overall box office health right there. But beyond that, it's a franchise I still love. I am not burnt out on comic book movies. Then, to be fair, true comic book movie fatigue doesn't actually exist. But comic book, but bad movie, mediocre movie fatigue exists. And there are people who just kind of don't dig on comic book movies or who are just tired of comic book movies. But the general idea of comic book movie fatigue is not inherently an actual thing. And I am, for one, not someone who's gotten tired of comic book movies. So I'm glad that they're showing, oh, no, we can still hang. We can still do this. Now, can they make enough money to, show that, oh, yeah, people really like us? Who knows? But we'll see. Now, this coming weekend, it will still be fantastic for. I have no doubt about that. I think, though, because it's a new animated film coming off of a decently successful previous film, Bad Guys 2 will be number 2. I will put Naked Gun at number 3. I then will put Superman at number 4. And then I'll put Jurassic World number 5. Now, Superman and Naked Gun might trade spot blows, but I will put Bad Guys 2 at number 2. So that's my thoughts for next week's box office. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. What did you think of this week's box office? Let me know. What do you attribute to the success of Fantastic Four? Do you think Superman will be able to break even? Why do you think Smurfs didn't work, besides just, maybe not being a great movie? They also didn't open strong. So what do you think is the reason for that? Do you think there's still an outside ballpark chance that Jurassic World could make $1 billion? all these questions, let me know in the comments below if you got answers, or at least your opinion. Till then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.